After 24 years, One Piece has finally entered the arc of Elbaf. Spoilers for the beginning of this arc. So we start off and Oda makes sure that we all can see the giant Yggdrasil tree that's sticking out from the middle of Elbaf. And if you don't know, in Norse mythology, the Yggdrasil tree is the thing that connects like all the 9 realms together. Get rid of that tree, you destroy the 9 realms. And it seems like the same thing is somewhat similar here because they're like, yo, it seems to be a fire over there by that tree. Go put it out, because if that Yggdrasil tree burns down, the country of Elbaf is done for. Which means, bet your money that somewhere during this arc, that tree is going to be in danger. It's going to be up to the Straw Hats to save it. After all, we are still an Emperor crew. I don't see us like struggling to beat anybody here, but I can definitely see us struggling to protect this tree. We also get introduced to these giant bees called stinger moles, and that would be terrifying to see. That bee is bigger than I am, and I'm about 6 feet tall. Then these guys are talking about something happening to the ear god, so it seems like the Straw Hats touched down on Elbaf and they were just running amok everywhere. And now I really want to see the ear god, because this giant's like, what could hurt that enormous rabbit? And I can name a couple of things. Ideally these 3, but we'll get back to them later. Because first things first, we end up seeing this giant Lego castle, so no, Nami's not hallucinating that she's seeing Legos because of the absence. She's just in a Lego castle. Frying more of these stinger moles, which I knew I'd be seeing more of, but I'm going to imagine we're going to see like a hive of those things in the Yggdrasil tree. How much you want to bet that's going to happen? Meanwhile, Nami's all alone and she's asking for Zoro, Luffy, Sanji, even Usopp. And I found that kind of sweet because it's like, all right, she's not saying Jinbei, who can really hold it down, or Robin, or Brook, or Frankie. She's calling for these people. And it makes the most sense because these are like her big brothers, basically. Except for Usopp. They're siblings that are just the same age. Meanwhile, even in Lego world, you cannot avoid hurting your feet walking on these floors. That's crazy. And Nami here's Usopp over here, and he's getting attacked by this giant Cheshire-looking cat with a crown on it. And she's like, all right, the first person that I run into is Usopp, which is not the best thing, but definitely not the worst. So the electrified porcupine that she hits falls down on the cat, which releases Usopp, and now he's free. Both of them are confused on what's going on around here because they can't find nobody else. But then after more shenanigans, they end up getting knocked out of the giant Lego castle and they fall to the bottom. And now Nami and Usopp are like at the mercy of this giant cat lion thing. It's kind of like shifting back and forth. And I just want to put this out there, but to any of the people that were thinking from like a previous video that I made that Nami or Usopp currently can beat Dofi by themselves because of power cliffing, you're crazy. Wild animals in the world of One Piece still give these 2 trouble. And that's not to show that they're weak. They're just dealing with crazy things in the world of One Piece, and they're normal people. So to those people, please take the term power cliffing and remove it from your mind, because I promise you, Oda does not care. But now we get Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy coming in, and they save these 2 in the same way that they always do. By ganging up on some poor animal. Like, one of y'all doing one of these moves would have been enough. All 3 of y'all together is overkill. And depending on the color scheme, these Elbaf outfits might go kind of crazy. I like that Zoro has this like very Zoro type of mask on. And lastly, I think it's really cool that Usopp is starting this arc off like at the very bottom, so that when he finally makes his gains, he's going to shine so much brighter because of scenes like this. And overall, I'm just looking forward to it. It's fun to see us back in a new island that's like completely new from the last place we just came from. But I know this arc is gonna be lore heavy too, because we talking about fake sun guys running around, because who they reporting to? Not Luffy. So I would imagine for the arc of Elbaf, they'll be fighting against like the powers that be and like saving this Yggdrasil tree and not really fighting anybody else. Not to say that they won't fight, I just don't think there's anyone on Elbaf that will give our top 3 dudes any trouble. Especially because it looks like Dory and Bragi and the rest of the Straw Hats did not touch down on Egghead yet, so we're getting back up eventually regardless. So overall, this is a very concise chapter that didn't have too much to go over. It's just one of those classic Oda setup chapters that's going to set up everything that we're supposed to be getting from this arc later on.